welcome to Expedition 33, Clair Obscure. Oh man, I know we've been excited for this one, and rightfully so. Let's get a couple of things out of the way really quickly. This game is blatantly S tier. You could tell in the first 7 hours the care and attention to detail this game's had. I have been looking, because it's part of my brain. I'm not like, I'm going to break this down, but it's what I've done for so long to find where there's like, oh, they could have done that a little better. And after like 7 hours of playing, you can usually spot those sort of weaknesses in the armor. Nope. The combat is phenomenal, fast, muscle memory, it's smooth, it's got good interactivity. Even the sort of mundane sort of trash packs are really fun to do. The interactions, the depth that you can go into with your characters, the set pieces. We're playing on Expert, which has been really fun, is all there. And God, the dialogue and the story, the setting they've done here is so good. And you know, and I don't have this feeling often enough, especially when it's an indie style game that's going for something like this. We played a lot of them on the channel, where they have a really bizarre and interesting premise and a world building, but they have no way of paying it off at the end. And they're going for more like it's about the journey, not the conclusion. This is a game where you know there's going to be something at the end that is going to be satisfying. You can just tell, like, the amount of times I was saying something about how I would respond to a situation and a character said the exact same thing because it's a normal human response to what's going on was overwhelming. I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we would say in this scenario. It's not contrived. It's not like, oh, well, a human might respond this way, but we're going to respond this way because it's going to push our story forward in a direction that you just didn't know about in any way, shape, or form. But that's what we're going to do. Obviously, the get-up is a tribute that Mr. Chris put together. He thought it'd be a lot of fun, especially because Annie Pushia has done it, and we had some back and forth on the cosplay style, so we're Team Turbo French for now. All right, let's get into a little bit of juicy details. I do want to point out here, because a lot of our viewers have done it, I think it's well worth saying, if this game is you want to play it, you don't want to wait like 2 years till your PC can handle it or anything. People are playing it on Game Pass and GeForce Now, which is like, if you've not used them, it's about £1 each. So it's like £2 to have basically play this on a 4090 without any downtime. So I just know a lot of our viewers have done it. If you're looking to play this game, you don't want to be spoiled, because I'm going to get into big spoilers. And it is top tier. It's very, very good, especially if you are a fan of any of the classic Final Fantasies from like 4 onwards. This is for you, right? This is a love letter to those kind of games, and done in a much better way and a modern way than I'd like to see. All right. Okay. Let's get into this. Oh boy, where to begin? I guess we should begin with the facts so you were all on the same page, as I knew nothing about the game coming in. Once the it was on our, I think I saw the trailer from like E3 or whatever, like a year or so ago. I was like, okay, we'll probably play that game. Just stuck it on the list. And then the reviews are coming out. I was busy. I think I could have got early access. I think we got offered it, but I was busy. I was like in Boston or something. So it was like, okay, we can't play it. I'm not going to be here. But obviously, by the time I come back, everybody's raving about it. So I kept myself completely in the dark. I just didn't want to know a damn thing. I want to go in and just experience what the game has to offer me, so I could be unbiased as well. Like, I don't want everybody else to be like, oh, it's amazing, you gotta love it. Because I might not. I might not. Opening on the world. I don't think, I had this thought, and I expressed this yesterday, and a lot of people agreed with me, is I haven't had a game do an intro, the prologue, that has landed as well with me to set up enough mystery and questions that I want answers to, better than, as good as BioShock did it. Now, if you're a little younger, that might not make any sense to you, because you've probably played one of the thousands upon thousands of games that tried to replicate what BioShock did all those years ago. Half-Life did something very, very similar. Like, the setup of it was just like, oh god, what is happening here? And BioShock, I think, did it the best. Crashing in that plane, swimming through the flames to reach the lighthouse, to an imposing picture of Andrew Ryan, and you're like, what the hell is happening? And then to be exposed to Rapture within that little prologue, and you're like, what in the hell? To then see a big daddy and a little sister, and you're like, bah, I need to know what the hell is happening here. I don't care. I need to know what the hell is going on in this world. And I had that here. This prologue was heartbreaking, and it had realizations. So let's go through it. So we meet our main character, or one of our main characters, Gustav, looking out over this shattered world where gravity no longer makes sense, a twisted replica. It's called Lumiere, but it's like a twisted Paris where the Eiffel Tower is all bent and misshapen. There's rocks floating in the sky. Everything is going wrong. You don't know what's happening because they're used to it by now. You very quickly get the impression from the dialogue that this is just the norm for them, which I thought was really interesting. Is like, this is just normal for those guys. And then we meet Mael, which is what this Chris got. This is based on Mael. I thought maybe I should have been Gustav after I saw this and realized where this outfit was from. But meet Mael, who's 16 years old, and we're going to see Sophie because it is her Gommage today. And Gustav's obviously extremely sad about what's happening. So you very much get the impression the Gommage is not a good thing. But what they do is they don't beat around the bush. I really appreciated this, is that you, just by chit-chatting with the locals, you understand that the people getting Gommaged are about to die. And then you meet Sophie, but it's also not like, hey, the Gommage is going to kill you. It's more a case of people who consider this to be day-to-day life. And they're just chit-chatting about it. And everybody knows it, but you can read between the lines if that is what is going to happen, is we're going to their deaths. And the conversations they have they're not, the best way of putting this is they're not treating the player as a moron that needs this spelling out for you. They're treating it as somebody who can understand dialogue that's happening because of the implications it has, and reading into, oh, what the hell? And that actually leads to more questions, which I'll get to towards the end, is my theories and questions that I have about the game. Some of them get answered as we go through. I liked that the general populace is treating this as, from different perspectives, based on what's been happening for a very long time, which leads to the question, how long has this been happening? Which we find out it's been 67 years, and it started counting down from 100. And every time the monolith changes by number, it's at 34 now, to 33. Everybody age 33 and above, who might have ticked over, to 34 during that year, is immediately killed. And that led to a really horrible scenario, such as, why are there so many flowers everywhere all over this town? Like, there's lots, and people are buying more and getting more and wearing the necklaces and things. The necklaces are the sign that is your day to be Gommaged. But why are the streets filled with them? And that's because when you die, you turn into flowers. And it's like, oh, I'm just literally walking through the ashes of, like, the populace. This is horrific and horrible. It's so dark. It looks beautiful on the way until you realize what the hell is going on. But good God, this is dark. Really, really dark. Oh, God. But then dealing with the populace, such as talking to one of the ladies who's actually angry with Sophie because she didn't have children. And that makes sense. It's like there's a duty that a lot of people feel is to repopulate, to maybe one day live through this, right? Especially those people that are alive that we're looking at now, Sophie and Gustav, were born into a world where this was already happening. This is the only world they've ever known. Right? Because it's been 67 years since this began, and they're only 32. So they were born into this environment. They were born probably to, well, definitely that their parents died. This is the norm. There's orphans everywhere. Why? Because their parents were Gommaged at some point. It's very normal that your parents certainly don't live past 35, 34. It's just not a thing. And they're getting younger every year because the monolith is counting down. Eventually it will hit 0 and everybody will be gone. But it's day to day and the kids accept it. It's normal. The kids are not even that sad that their parents are dying that day, because it's the norm. It's what they know. It's as common to us as somebody dying in their 80s, 90s, right? It's just the way of the world. I loved this. So mature. It was great. It was really understandable. They even looked at people who were just having sex until the Gommage. Like, balls to it. If I'm going out smiling, baby. All that aspect of this was really handled very, very well. The world building that was done from here was great. And the point outs that they are aware that where the monolith is on that continent is there's monsters. There's people making statues of them because they've had binoculars and telescopes looking at it and watching it. They know certain things about it, like the environment, but they can't land there. Or they can land there, but nobody ever comes back. And so we go down and the Gommage happens, which was honestly heartbreaking just to see all those people just evaporate. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Tornere marina, estelina che soledad, dona l'ora tovla, alina. Esta surano taki le noir tonare fuego verso arina.
Oh, it's a big lady. Oh, she paints the number. She's not a pictomancer. But does this mean next year it's 32? Oh shit, you just get flowered. Oh no. Oh, that's horrible. Fuck, that is brutal. Oh, and that's why all the flowers on the street are dead bodies. I'm here. That's not fun, guys. That's not fun at all. And then she just goes back to sleep. This is horrible. But then, most importantly, we see the paintress. This, what, 200-300 foot young girl who is hunched over with knees to chest, stand up and repaint the number on the monolith and then sit back down again, which is causing the Gommage. And I was like, oh, interesting. And then we find out what Expedition 33 is. And it makes a lot of sense. It's the people who are due to be Gommaged next year. So when it changes to 32, those people who are in their final 12 months or whatever will attempt to put an end to this because they're dead anyway. Your clock is up. Your time is up. So they have a collection. It's volunteer, so it's not everybody. But there's an objective mission now to use this final year to maybe put an end to this. To go and kill the paintress, which will stop her painting on the monolith and changing the number. And maybe put an end to this for the future generations. Which is great. Which is what Gustav is all about. Because Gustav is special. He's come up with some new tech where they are using some power of light and to create better weapons and things along those lines. That is phenomenal. So he's going on this mission. But along with that, so is Mael. Mael is 16. This led to a really interesting conversation, which I think is worthy of discussion here, is that Mael is 16. And a big point once we actually get to the island is that she was raised by Gustav because she was an orphan. essentially Gustav is her father, and his sister Emma is her mother. And that's how he sees her. He's raised her since she was little, right? And she made it's drilled into Gustav when he's losing his mind that Mael is missing, and we know she's alive, and we got to protect her and look after her. It's drilled in by Lumi that she's an adult, and people were very confused by that. It's like, she's 16, because I was like, well, she's an adult making adult decisions, and obviously the age of being an adult is different across the world depending on what nation you're in, but also in a world where the oldest person alive is fucking 32. Middle-aged, man. Middle-aged. Yeah, she's an adult in this world. In this world, like, 16 is middle-aged, right? And has been for, like, a while. Like, midway through her life for a good few years at this point. Like, yeah, absolutely, she's making adult decisions that you've got to respect. So that you've got to put yourself in the eyes and the lens of the world they occupy. They're not living to, like, near 100. They're living to the 30s. And being 16 is considered to be an adult there. So I loved the way they treated that. It was really good, because it made sense that he's got this fatherly protection over her, but she swore an oath that she was fully aware of what was going on, because it's in that world. Yeah, it was great. So we are going to land where Expedition 0, which was 67 years ago, landed. That is going to be the plan. But no one's ever come back, so we don't know what's going to happen there. So it's time. We go on the expedition, and we arrive on the continent, and we get off the boats. And then we have essentially the game's Normandy moment, right? The D-Day moment. In that... And this was so cool, because it just provided yet more mystery and more questions and theories, is what do we meet at the beach? It's not monsters. It's not these giant monsters and Nevrons that they've been talking about, and Gestrels. It's a man.
You're old. How did you survive the Gommage?
I didn't.
Which expedition are you from? Fall back!
Yo, we lost Alan?
Come on, we need to go!
The old man is protecting the island. Why? And more interesting than that, it's an old man. Late 50s, 60s. And what makes it even more interesting is that man murders everybody. It's a human man wearing an expedition outfit who takes them all out. And that shouldn't happen, or shouldn't be possible, because the Gommage should have killed them. But why is this man here? I'll come back to that in a bit. So obviously the whole team is wiped out. I really loved, actually, leading into this, that the team was professional and very much like a military unit of having fun, but not overly levity. A lot of games, even Baldur's Gate does this, puts the party potential members into boxes to fit certain roles. You know, you got a very militaristic, serious person like Lae'zel, and then you've got the like more comedic characters but also strong like Karlach, and then you have like the mad scientists and things like that are going on, and the whimsical upper class person like Asterion. You know, they fit a certain role of the personality types you want to go with you, because they have limited spots. Meeting the team at the wake after the Gommage was really cool. They were all very professional. They were having fun. They were friends. They understood that essentially they're already dead, but they're going to try their hardest, and with the team they can get this done. I really appreciate that mature style. It's very much like being around soldiers. If you've ever been at something like that, they're very like that. They're fun, and they're enjoying themselves. They're still people, but there's a professional sort of militaristic style behind the eyes that you can just tell in the way they handle themselves, and that was cool. But the team's dead. Unlucky. And then the monsters appear, which is very scary and spooky and very horror style, which I liked. Got this almost Lovecraftian style to it. And now we're on the island. Now we're there. We've survived. very quickly it becomes apparent, and we see the horror that's there of all the previous expeditions, or most of them, right? We're going to keep encountering them across the island, but we just find corpses everywhere, that they were just wiped out so quickly by the monsters there. Just rivers of blood. Just adorn the shoreline, so to speak, of where the expeditions landed. And Gustav even goes to kill himself, like in just pure despair. He's like, this is just so bad. I need to be out of here. We're saved by Luma, and then we begin our two-party journey to find Mael. We find a note that Mael is around, and she's been taken somewhere for safety. But it's not written by someone from the expedition. They have very strict protocols of how to leave messages to make sure it came from the expedition. And that just doesn't fit, so it didn't come from the expeditions, which sends Gustav into despair, because it's his daughter, as far as he's concerned. I understood it. He comes across as very whiny, but it's understandable, which is why it gets drilled into him there. We finally find the mansion in one of the most beautiful zones I've ever been in, which was like Flying Water, I think it was called, which is basically just a floating ocean that you're in, not in kind of deal, with fish and whales, and very much a Bioshock nod, I would almost say. Wait, did that fucking... Oh, wow. Oh. What the fuck is happening here? Am I underwater? I mean, or is the water just above us? No, there's bubbles here. We're underwater, right? Let me jump. Okay. What the fuck is going on? What is happening here? Right, these guys know this isn't right, okay? Don't just gloss over this. Wonderful, wonderful zone. And there's a mansion inside where we find Mael, who's been taken care of. We call him Withers. I'm not sure if we've even given him a name. He's Withers and Omega Lol, because he's got a big hole in his face, which then led to more theories, which I'll get to in a second. And after recovering Mael, it's now our job to go to the Gestural camp, because she's been around here and met some of the creatures. Mael's been exploring a little bit, and now she's got an idea, and we need to go to the Gestural village. So that's the story we're up to right now. Did a lot of bosses here. Boss fights, just phenomenal. I can't talk highly enough of the combat system. I'm having a ton of fun with it. I'm having periodic stops to, like, min-max things, which is great. Theories. This old man. All right, let's start with the paintress. I don't need it explained to me what caused the fracture. I'm okay with them not really doing that. Like, the fracture happened, and it happened in a time... even in the world of the game, it's like it's probably not remembered as to what... Did we ever find out when it happened, why it happened? Don't know. I'm okay with it. The fracture happened, and this monolith appeared, and the paintress appeared. The paintress, I think, is definitely not a baddie, right, in the traditional sense. The impression I get from the body language and the way the paintress is that the paintress is a young girl, perhaps an old god or something like that. You know, if you think of those Lovecraftian stories of those creatures roaming the earth that are, you know, monumental in size. Kind of, because she looks like a young girl. She's huge, but a young girl. And perhaps, I'm getting the vibe, especially after speaking to some of the creatures on the continent that are not bad, so to speak, like friendly and want to communicate, is that they were sent to find light. I'm very much getting the impression with the game that it's something to do with balance, and dark has overwhelmed light. Very classic storytelling. And a lot of the things on the island are actually from the paintress's imagination. Like, if you think about Flying Water, that feels like something a child would imagine. And a lot of the environments are very fantastical, and the creatures are very fantastical. And also, when they die, you can sort of absorb them as light into the experience and power and things like that is how it's used in the game. But you are, like, disintegrating them into energy. And so I'm like, is she painting these things and creating them from her mind? And is she trying to restore balance? She looks sad. The paintress looks sad, and it's almost like she's hoping one day that the balance will be restored, and the countdown is until something actually really, really bad happens. The Gommage is just maybe fuel for her to try and stop whatever happens when it hits zero. That's one of my theories so far. The old guy. I feel like the old guy who is stopping them, because that's what the old guy did. He didn't look mind-controlled. He looked like he'd found out something, and he needed to stop the expeditions from attacking the paintress. I don't know what that means, because it doesn't correlate nicely to what I feel about the paintress, but it does feel as though is he protecting the paintress? Is she actually very vulnerable? and very weak. And they need this to happen. They need something to happen because the Paintress is trying to help in some way. As horrible as what she's doing is it helpful in some way? And he's protecting the Paintress because these expeditions arrive that are trying to kill her. And they might succeed because she's not super strong and the enemies are defeatable for sure. Something along those lines. It feels like he was one of the early expeditions who eventually maybe made it to the Paintress and actually found something else out. Something along those lines, right? That kind of angle is going on. I do feel like Gustav dies. There's this thing you can do at camp where you write in your journal for hopefully it'll be read one day by the next generations, which makes me think that Gustav probably does die and his journal is the only thing that survives of him, of what happened on the island to make it happen. To retell the story of whatever our, finale is here, whether we put a stop to the Gommage or not. I mean, I hope we do. I do feel like we are going to get that satisfying conclusion. And also, what is the monolith? And is this to Cabin in the Woods style? Is this to prevent more of whatever the creature the Paintress is from emerging? Because that's way worse than what's happening now. Is the rest of the world in existence? Don't know. Don't know. Is it possible there's more monoliths? When the fracture happened, is all that remains of the human race this, city of Lumiere? Is that all that's left? And the continent itself and the monolith on it? Don't know. Don't know. Theories. But we're here for the long haul here, all right? So thank you for listening, and I'll see you with more updates tomorrow. Bye, guys.